Hello, Professor. Today I'll be talking about my personal budget project. Question 1. How do you feel now that you have done your budget? What are three things that you have learned from your budgeting project? I feel good about my project. I believe that I learned a lot about how to track our expenses. One thing I learned while doing this project was how expensive it was to keep a house up and running properly. I'm talking about the utility bills, like how much it costs to pay the electrical bill, water bill, waste, etc., as well as how much it costs, as well as the cost of cars. The car payments surprised me as well. Another thing I noticed was how expensive it was to go out to eat, as often as me and my family do. Question 2. What is your biggest expense category? What surprised you most about how much you spend? The biggest category I had was easily the car payments. I knew it was expensive, but I never took into consideration how much it really was. Although the car payments are expensive, I was more surprised how much we spent on food. Dining out specifically was what really surprised me. Question 3. Do you have a surplus or deficit? Are there any changes that you can make to improve the cash flow? If so, what are they? How will you make those changes? Looking at my expenses and the money that comes in, we are at a surplus of $982.37 per month. There are obviously changes, like everything that we can make. One example I'm thinking of is going out to eat less and eating at home more often. I think that we can make the change by me talking to my parents, trying to convince them, and explaining it and breaking it down to not go out as often as we do, to save as much money possible. Option 4, think about your family, community in general. Do you do they live on budget? Do they track their expenses? What kind of healthy and unhealthy financial behaviors do you see? Thinking about my personal family, I don't really think we live on a budget. We really spend freely, and I think it's not healthy. I think it's really bad. There's ways that we should be tracking our expenses that we haven't been tracking. Doing this project really will help me to now that I have a better understanding of how much money really comes in, how much goes out, and the little stuff that we usually don't see that add up. I think it will help me. Question 5. How do you impact the society around you by living on a budget? What if you don't? I think it's important to live on a budget. Without a budget, you can easily overspend on little things, like going to the gas station, buying a energy drink or a protein bar. You don't see it, but if you go 3 days out of the week, it's just stuff that you really don't think of. And if you don't budget, it's just again. But one example of what we do is going out to eat. We shouldn't go out to eat as often as we do. And looking at the numbers, it's we spend way more on that than other stuff that we could be spending it on. Question 6. How would you help a friend by setting up their budget and live by it? I would essentially copy the template that we did for this project. I liked how specific and detailed everything was. I would start by seeing how if they were overspending, how much they were overspending by, and how we could change that for the future. We could have so they can save the most money possible. I'd look at their paycheck and take out the taxes, see where everything, really see what's coming in net, not just the gross, because a lot of people just look at their gross net, their gross income, and then just really don't know what they're making essentially at the end of the day. Question 7. Looking at your pay stubs from work, how much did you pay in taxes? How did it impact your budget? Based on our personal experience and information from the course discussed, how taxes influence society in good and bad ways. I personally don't have a job that requires a pay subs because I get paid in cash, but it would definitely affect the budget because how much would get taken out by federal and state tax? Texas has obviously both, like everything, pros and cons. Some examples are cops, firefighters. They keep our streets and homes safe from anything that could happen. We also have to look at the roads in the cities that are all clean, all the roads are good. Although it has its pros, it definitely has its cons, like everything, again. Um, for one example of it is whenever you're getting your gross whenever you look at your paycheck and you see your gross income and you don't budget your taxes, and then last minute you just remember, then once April hits. Also, the people that are losing out on EBT, the ones that really are losing the opportunity to receive money that they need for themselves and their kids, I think that that as well is a con right now that's been going on. Conclusion, thank you for your time and attention, Professor.